Welcome to Twisted Liquid RC Boats. This episode of Twisted Liquid RC Boats is proudly brought to you by Blazer Marine. Interested in an RC hydroplane for yourself? Check out blazermarine.com. Also, this episode is proudly brought to you by Sly Cat Racing. For all of your RC boat needs, slycatracing.com. Good day, everybody, and welcome back to Twisted Liquid RC Boats and the continuation in our Blazer Marine Lauterbach build. Now, guys, since I done the last episode, you can see that I got my dry fit blown apart again, and I've got everything laid out here now that I want to get all tacked together and epoxied together, let it cure, let it sit flat and level against the jig, and start the construction on the frame of this boat. But before I do, I'm going to make a reference to the manual, and I'm going to tell you guys again that the manual that you're using to build this boat is for a Gen 1 boat, and you should be building a Gen 2 boat if you're watching this video. And in the manual, they mention dihedral angle in the bulkheads as the boat is coming up in its construction. Bulkhead 4 and 5 should start to show it. Now they tell us to take the bulkhead and lay it against a ruler like you see me doing and check for a 3-degree angle. And that 3-degree angle should be towards the left-hand port side of the boat. But that's for the Gen 1 model only, from what I can see. Because I'm laying these bulkheads, my MDF, and they are perfectly flat on the bottom. There is no angle to them whatsoever. And both bulkheads are like it. So I might be wrong in what I'm about to say to you guys, but it seems like to me that the dihedral angle that they talk about in the manual has been removed from these parts in the Gen 2 boat. So left hand and right hand is probably not as critical as what you thought it would be as referring to the manual. Your bulkhead number 4 does have your laminate on it for where you're going to mount your turn fin, so make sure you got that on the right starboard side of your boat when you're building it. But I've checked these two bulkheads for dihedral angle and I can't see any in them whatsoever. So I'm going to lay them back in my frame and I'm going to start to get it put together. Now guys, I've got a perfect right angle here on this transom right now where it's clamped to, and I'm not going to move it, and we're slowly going to start to tack this boat together with some CA glue first, and then we're going to go in and we're going to epoxy all of the joints that we tacked with CA. Now I'm only going to use a very tiny amount of CA glue, and I'm going to position everything and hold everything perfect at right angles as I'm working my way forward and assembling these pieces. I'm not going to get in a rush. Once I got everything tacked together with CA glue, then I'm going to start and come in and epoxy all the joints, let it sit, let it cure, leave it clamped, and once I know we got that much, we'll start coming on with other pieces. But I'd like to build the boat from the center out, keeping everything perfectly square, keeping everything perfectly in a line, and get this frame put together. Right now my CA bottle has a bad cap on it. It's still good CA in it. So I'm just going to use a simple artist brush to lay little dabs of it where I want to, hit it with the accelerator. I know it's going to harden the brush, but at least I can apply it and just use a little amount of it and get everything held together perfect like I want it. If you guys didn't notice, I picked myself up a Milwaukee digital angle finder And I actually got an additional trim square, so I got 2 of them to work with. So I'm going to start at the transom. I'm going to start working my way forward and tacking all this together as soon as I slide them 2 bulkheads back in place. Now right now guys, if you could look and see, I've got all the bulkheads numbered 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. We're going as far as number 6. 2 engine rails are going in. Keel is in place. Radio backside is in place. And this back wooden support piece is in place. You should have a slight overhang when you're doing all this and you get all this together correctly. And you will sand that off on these 2 top pieces, on these 2 engine rail pieces right here, and on your keel. A very slight amount. So let's take our time, start making everything perfectly square, and tacking our boat together. Okay guys, I've got everything laid back in place, all of my bulkheads. I've got everything lined up here perfect. Now, before I start just tacking this with CA, I want to let you guys know that I took the time to clean all the laser burn off any place where any wood is going to join together. And it possibly took me about an hour to clean all the slots, all of the little slots for all the sides and everything, all the slots in the transom, and the radio box, the engine rails. But I took the time and done it just so I can get better penetration with my epoxy when I do put it in there. Now the first place I'm going to start is at the transom of the boat. And I've got everything lined up back here absolutely perfect. I have a perfectly square transom on the back to this jig. So I know I have a slight overhang on all my 5 pieces that are sticking out. And everything is lined up perfect, just sitting here with no strain on it. It's all laid against the jig flat on its own. I don't need to weigh it down. I don't need to do anything. So I'm just going to come in and start to lay down a couple tacks of CA glue in little places to hold this in place. And once I get it tacked together, then I'm going to go in and I'm going to epoxy it solid. And it's only going to take a few minutes to go around all these joints, but there is quite a few of them to do. Now, I can see why they're asking us to do it this way, because there's a lot of pieces that we've got to hold together here all at one time. So, using CA to start off before just epoxying everything lets you set everything in place like you want it, but it also gives you the option that if you have a mistake made, or if you need to adjust something or move something, you easily can, because it's only CA glued in place. And with a little work with a razor knife, you could easily remove the CA glue, and you could easily fix anything you might have to adjust. So this is the way they're stating to do it in the manual. So I suggest you pay attention to that and take your time and start to tack your boat together. Now I'm just going to check those pieces and see that they're nice and snug. All 5 of them are. So we're going to take our time. We're going to move our squares. We're not going to get ourselves in a mess of CA glue here and stick our fingers together. We're going to come up to another bulkhead here on our boat. We're going to use 2 squares just to keep everything perfect like we want it. So we know that it's dead perfect to our jig. Exactly like we want it. Take a tiny dab of CA glue. And once you get a dab on it, hit it with accelerator, hold it so you know you got it perfect, let it sit for a second or two. You should be able to let it go, check your square, make sure you're fine, and move on to the next piece. Now, there's a couple pieces down here too that you can quickly just do on the engine rail side of it. I'm just going to do them on the top so that I know I can get the sides of them really good with epoxy instead. If you feel like you need to push something down or hold it down while you're CAing it, by all means go ahead and do so. I'm going to come over to this side now. Make sure I'm perfectly square, like I want to be off my jig. I'm going to tack that side right there. If we have to adjust anything or move anything later, like I say, breaking CA loose is a lot easier than having to try and break epoxy loose. Once you get all this set up now good, you can get to work and do some epoxy work. But just take your time and tack your boat together as you're coming up through it. It's not overly hard work to do. You just have to use a little patience and a little common sense as you're doing it, and CA everything together first so that you don't have to worry about epoxying first and making everything solid and making a mistake and not being able to reverse it. Just take your time and do it. This ain't hard work. It just takes a little patience and a little common sense building technique as you're doing things. And as you're going, keep looking with your eyes, guys. I can't stress it enough. I've said it before doing other builds. Use your eyes. Your eyes are going to show you everything with your square, with regards to everything you're doing with your boat. And keep coming right on up through and tack everything together. Now I'm going to keep doing the same procedure without boring you guys. And once I got everything tacked together, I'll come back on the camera and we'll get ready to mix up some epoxy and we'll check everything and make sure that it's perfect before we do. But I'm just going to keep going up through the bulkheads, the engine rails, and the radio box and get it all tacked together with CA glue. Okay guys, that took me probably about 20 minutes, but I got everything tacked together. Now, one of the biggest things I'm going to say to you here now as I'm doing this is try not to use a lot of CA glue, make a mess, and tack your frame to your jig. I probably should have laid some wax paper down, but I've been very lucky because I can wiggle my frame and move it and everything is moving and it's all solid and all together. Nothing is loose anymore. Everything is all in place. Now after you get all this done, you can start checking everything with a square. And I mean you can check everything. You can check your sides. You can check your radio box. You can check your bulkheads. You can make sure that you got everything at a perfect right angle before you start epoxying anything together. And if you keep coming right up through this boat, right now what I got tacked together is square anywhere I check it, anywhere I look, and it's sitting perfectly flat on this jig with no strain on any of the wood whatsoever. Everything laid together and was just held and tacked, and everything is sitting dead flat against the jig, perfect like I want it. So now I can take the time, mix up some epoxy, and come in and epoxy all of these joints together and take my time and do it. But guys, the first steps of getting this boat together are going to be CA gluing this frame perfectly square everywhere where you can check it and you want to see it, and make sure that you get it good. You can check your engine rails on the insides on both sides, even with the square sitting up on the keel. Everything is still perfect, exactly the way I want it. Now, like I say, it's very easy to break CA glue free instead of trying to break epoxy free. So make sure you get everything together solid, everything together perfect, just tack together, then come in with your mix of epoxy and make it all solid. So the next thing I'm going to do is get a coat of epoxy on all of this, and I'll get back to you guys. Okay guys, it's the next morning after we got our frame with the first coat of epoxy on it. Last night, after I had everything tacked together perfect, I mixed up a batch of West Systems G-Flex, and I came in and I done all my sides, I done the bulkheads, and I done everything. This morning when I woke up, I'd mixed up a second batch of West Systems G-Flex, and I done the inside of my engine rails, all the fillets around the radio box, the rails, the sides, and all the bulkheads is all epoxied. Right now guys, I've got two weights, two steel plates laid down, wrapped up in towels that are keeping weight on the frame to keep it flat down against the jig. I have a small piece of plate here against the front to keep the keel down, keep everything square against bulkhead 6. The transom is clamped. Everything on this boat right now is dead square. And it took a bit of time to get it all set up like this so far. But what I have assembled is 13 pieces. And right now the epoxy is curing. And this is set up so that it's square anywhere I check it. Against my engine rails on both sides. Anywhere I look, I have a square boat built. So take your time, get everything lined up perfect, CA glue it in place with little tiny tacks, not a lot, then come in and mix up your epoxy and put fillet joints on all of your joints. Everywhere you have a wood joint, get it epoxied solid. Now guys, I'm going to leave this and let it sit. It's 13 pieces total that we got assembled already in the frame. And I'm going to start working my way forward. Once I do have the radio box fully assembled like I want it, I'll put my lid top on. Next we're going to start working forward with bulkhead 7 and bulkhead 8. And we're going to get the nose of the boat lined up with the sides also. I want to refer to the manual and make sure that I'm doing everything perfect. But right now, up to this point, I know I have the first 13 pieces in my frame of my Blazer Lauterbach done. They are flat and level to my jig. They are all at a perfect 90-degree right angle, and I'm ready to continue on assembling my boat. Can't thank you guys enough for watching. I told you this was going to get a little bit entertaining. Up to now it's been all boring laminating work and that. But now I'm going to start to take assemblies and do them and get them done, because I want to see this frame constructed and I want to see this boat start to get put together. Keep watching guys, there's more coming soon. I want you to take care of yourselves out there. I want you to have a really good day, and I'm going to catch you in the next episode, which is coming soon. Thanks for watching, everyone. Feel free to like and subscribe. Take care and stay safe.